everybody, thanks for joining me here today. This is Nichole with Topaz, and today we are here for our Quick Tip Thursday session, Charcoal and Pastel Effects in Topaz Impression, which I'm super excited to show you. It's some of my favorite effects within the program because they are so realistic. From coarse or in rough type of pastel to smudged and more blended charcoal effects, we have all of those in there for you. And Topaz Impression makes it really easy for you just to go in and just click one-click preset and get some pretty awesome results. And that's what this image that we're looking at here is. Let me go ahead and make a copy. Here is our background image. This is the before image and after. And again, this is a one-click preset. Let me go ahead and uncheck that and just take that into Topaz Impression and show you really quickly how to get to all of these different presets. We actually have a category of presets that are specific to charcoal and pastel. And as that opens up, all you need to do is come over here to the right, pull down your preset categories, and go down to charcoal and pastel. And we have charcoal, pastel, and chalk presets in here. So you can just start from the top and work your way down. The first three charcoal effects are going to be more of that rough, hand-drawn, not too smudged or blended in charcoal effects. So here we start to get a little bit more of a blend, and a little bit more of a blend and less of the specific lines that you see of the charcoal. But if you scroll down, you'll start to see some smudged presets as well, and that's where you'll start to get your smudged charcoal effects if you're into that particular look as well. And I love this smudged 4 preset. It's quite contrasty, and it has a lot of smudge to it, which is my preference as far as charcoal effects. So as quickly as that, I'm able to just get a really good charcoal simulation. For the next image, I want to kind of go into more of a pastel color images, and it's the same process, except we're going to go into the preset sliders and actually go through a couple different sliders that would be good for these types of effects. So let's go right here. This is the after image. And let me show you before. And actually this is another one, a different one. After image and before. We'll go ahead and take this image in, Topaz Labs, Topaz Impression, and go through the same process at the beginning. I'm finding that I use a preset almost exclusively in this particular program. With some of our previous programs, I would go directly to the sliders, but these presets are very realistic, so I'll start off with a preset, and it kind of gives me a good starting point to move on from there. So I'm going to go back to my charcoal and preset list and go down to my pastel effects. Now it's kind of the same idea with these first 3 pastel effects are going to be a little bit more coarse and rough, where you start to see those actual chalk or pastel markings, those individual lines sometimes, not super smudged or blended together. And then once you move on to the smudged presets, you'll see those pastel color presets smudged a little bit more. And I'm going to start off with this smudged 2 preset for this image. I don't particularly love it. Number one, I really enjoy the saturation that I'm getting in the before image, and I want to maintain that within the pastel effect. And I can quickly do that just by going into my presets. Oops. Looks like Jeremy joined us. Hey Jeremy, thank you. I'm going to make him an organizer so he can help answer questions. All right, sorry about that. Okay, where was I? I was talking about going into the program to maintain this original saturation. And there's some other things I don't like about it as well. I don't like the fact that it's not covering the edges. It's kind of coming in and I'm seeing the background. I don't really want to do that for this particular image. So really quickly, I can just go down to my color module and boost up my overall saturation and immediately start to get some of that saturation back. I'm not quite sure where it's being taken out of within this preset, but I can quickly get it back just by taking my overall saturation up. So that's really nice. I really want to take my overall lightness up as well because I like the lighter pastel effect. Maybe even take the brightness up a touch and the contrast up just to get some nice contrast between that background blue and the preset itself. I'm going to go ahead and take out the vignette. I don't need that. And these corners I'm kind of not liking. And what that is our coverage vignette. And the coverage vignette is different than the traditional darkening of the edges. The coverage is actually something that allows you to take the effect itself and see the background of your medium that you are simulating. So if we scroll down to the texture area, you'll see that I've, for this preset, chosen a background of this color. But for this particular image, I'm not enjoying that edges, so I really want to make sure that it covers the entire image. So I'm going to take this coverage all the way to the right, full coverage, and get back my entire colors on those edges. A couple other areas that you really want to pay attention when you're working with pastel effects, definitely the smudge tool. The smudge tool is going to basically give you the effect of taking your thumb or taking a paper towel and smudging it around. And with these pastel effects, you can really push that to a nice level. Get really smudgy. With the spill effects, if you don't want your edges to be so clean, you want to have a little bit more of a rough or kind of more expressive edge as far as getting some lines a little less perfect, this spill slider is going to be your best friend. So as you go through here, you'll start to see, or as you take that to the right, you'll start to see it just kind of softens up that edge and really brings that pastel smudgy effect to the forefront of that type of image. If you're finding that you don't particularly like the brush strokes for these presets, you can easily come into your stroke width and stroke length and change them around. You could go in and change all of the actual brush types and the brush sizes and things like that, but I'm finding with the pastel effects that I can come in and just change the stroke width and stroke length and really get to where I need to be. So that's how I play around with my pastel effects. I'm going to say OK. Get back into the program, and here's before and after. And if I had just gone in by myself and just worked with this, it would have taken me less than a minute really to do exactly what I needed for this image to get a result that I'm actually really happy with. I think this is a great image for this effect. So I hope that gives you some quick tips into charcoal and pastel effects and how to quickly achieve these realistic effects, whether they are more of a rough edge or smudged like we worked on today. All right, thank you everybody, and I hope you have a good rest of the day, morning, or afternoon. Bye.